Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I would like to welcome you all to the Truth and Soul podcast. I am your host, SB, and your other host is...
tREBLEFREE.
That's right. And we are back with another episode. And as we always do, trouble-free. Can you tell me, sir, how are things?
That's a good question, sir. Things are thangin', as I always like to say.
All right, things are continually thangin' with you. Everything is everything on this side. And before we jump into Truth and Soul affairs, I did think this is noteworthy to mention. When we are recording this, just a few days ago over the weekend, we lost Brother Malcolm Jamal Warner. And for those of us in American society, period, but especially Black America, this is a significant event. So I want to ask you, Trouble-Free, if you had any thoughts about the passing of Brother Malcolm.
I did. Number one, first and foremost, is a shock. Huge shock. Malcolm was a light. The first thing I thought about, he gone, but Trump is still breathing. That's the first thing I thought about. I was like, why? I was very upset about it. Huge loss. Huge loss. As always, the memes helped. As Stevie says, joy inside my tears. Yeah, it's really hard to take.
It's heavy. It's heavy. And, you know, there's a reason why it's so heavy. Not only was Malcolm part of the fabric of our society as an actor, especially with his role as Theodore Huxtable, but it was, and it's like they always say, representation matters. And a lot of times, even when being entertained by us, people tend to forget the humanity of Black folks. And especially when it comes to young Black men. And despite what we're living through culturally right now, it's good to know that we are not a monolith. And it's good to be reminded of that. I know people say that a lot. It's a cliche. It's a catchphrase now. But Malcolm's portrayal of a young Black man in the 80s in New York City was exceptional, not only because of his acting skill, but because of that representation, because contrary to popular belief, not all young Black men are quote unquote streetwise. You know, we're not all thugs. We're not all, and I hate to use the word thugs, but it seems appropriate here. But we're not all, you know, threats to society. You know, it's just, it was refreshing beyond description to just see a young brother enjoying life and growing up. And, you know, empathizing with all, you know, the things he went through, because those things that he went through were relatable. I remember some people criticizing, you know, the Cosby Show as being unrealistic. And I just thought that was a short-sighted perspective. So we watched Malcolm grow into a young man. But what adds another layer to it, what adds some heaviness, some weight to it, is that Malcolm didn't allow the entertainment industry to derail him. And we see that too many times with young people in the entertainment industry, whether it be in the music business, whether it be in Hollywood, where we see these people who we feel some type of kinship with on television and films, but then in their personal life, they're struggling with their own identity, and they're struggling with maturity. So it was tough to watch Todd Bridges, in handcuffs. It was tough You know what I mean? To see, Flavor Flav be, strung out on drugs. Those things are tough. They're tough to take. And so the fact that Malcolm was able to keep his poise, and this is at the highest heights. He was at the highest heights of the entertainment industry. The Cosby Show was the #1 show in America for a long time. So that Malcolm was able to stay poised and continue to evolve and develop and mature as a human being, and continue to provide that representation for black people, black men, for young people. So, well done, Brother Malcolm, and rest in power. Process it. So that's us processing. All right. So today we're coming back to another classic album breakdown. And tREBLEFREE, my brother, would you tell the people which album we're going to be discussing today?
Okay. We are taking the Wayback Machine to 1994.
1994. What were you doing in 1994, sir?
1994 was my freshman year of college. Lane College in Jackson, Tennessee. Like I said, we're taking the Wayback Machine to 1994 and to the illustrious Mary Jane Blige and her sophomore album.
Yeah, this is her sophomore album. This is her second studio album. This is her sophomore album.
Right. My Life by Mary Jane Blige.
Okay, so better known to our audience as Mary J. Blige. J stands for Jane. That is her middle name.
Correct.
So My Life, Mary J. Blige, 1994, Uptown MCA Records. And I usually do this at the end, but let's do it now. What's your general feel about this album? How did this album hit you?
This album hit me as something that was of our era, original, even though it had samples like crazy. It was original for its time. It was a wonderful follow-up to all that she had done previously. It also had a lot of sadness, a lot of grief, a lot of pain being turned into funk, a lot of disappointment being turned into joy by the way the music made you feel. She made heartbreak sound delicious as fuck. And we'll get into the specific joints of where I feel did that. But she definitely made heartbreak feel good. If that's fucked up to say, but that's how I feel about it.
Okay, we'll dig this. What do you think this album did better than the debut?
I think it defined her better. I think it defined her specifically more where she was, rather than just the generic nature of the first album's songs. My Life sort of more honed in specifically on who she was. It was way more specific to what she was dealing with and what she was feeling in those moments. I would even say the remake that she chose for this record, which we're going to get into later, even that one, that song, even though even that defined this album's direction very well, of where she was trying to go and show us exactly who she was.
Let me ask you this, and I don't mean to cut you off, excuse me for that, but let me ask you this. What do you think this album did musically better than 411?
Musically, I think this album musically had more of a consistency to it, front to back. I think it also had more groove for me personally. I think it had more specific groove. Chucky, I think, even though for this being kind of one of his first big projects, this is kind of Chucky's coming out party as a producer, since he produced everything except for 2 tracks on here.
So I really enjoyed 411. I was an instant fan. The first time I heard Mary was with the first single from 411, which was You Remind Me. We talked about that a couple episodes back. How I thought it was the Patrice Rushen remake at first until I listened a little more closely. So I was excited to hear what she would come with on her second album. And to me, I would sit 411 and My Life right next to each other. Like you tend to say, 10 and 9.5 type of situation. Now, of course, My Life is a little more personal, because once we get into the nuts and bolts, we see that Mary is writing a lot of the lyrics herself on this. So there's some co-writes here and there, but Mary's involved lyrically here in the songwriting. But I think what's most significant about this album, outside of Mary's career, and we talk about the albums that we've discussed so far, these are albums that had some type of effect on listeners, on society, or on the music scene or whatever. This album in particular changed the game for R&B. This was an absolute game changer. This was a seismic shift in R&B. What this album did, it opened the Pandora's box that can never be closed.
Ooh.
Okay. So with this album, now we have to mention Puff. Okay, because Puff was the executive producer. This was when he was still at Uptown. Was he still at Uptown at this point? No, he was no. He was Bad Boy by this point, right?
No.
94. Something is telling me 92, 93 is when he got fired. Okay, Wikipedia is saying 93. He was the guiding force behind this record.
Correct.
So we can agree on that much. But what this album did for R&B and for music in general, specifically music production, this was the album that allowed singers to sing over samples.
Mm-hmm.
This was the album that made it no longer taboo for singers to sing over samples as songs on their own. Like, they would sing hooks for rappers over samples, but for their own songs, it was something that was just not done. With this album, Puff legitimized R&B singers singing over samples. It legitimized hip-hop style production for R&B.
Okay.
Now, we started going down that road with Teddy with the New Jack Swing. This is New Jack Swing tapering off, and we're starting to come into, now, Mary's nickname. What's Mary's nickname? They call Mary J. Blige the queen of hip-hop soul. That's significant. The reason why is because as New Jack Swing tapered off, this is what took its place. So after a while, you didn't need a musician wonderkin like Teddy, or somebody like Chucky, who was used heavily here. You know what I'm saying? If you just had some studio equipment, you could make R&B records. That's how this record changed the game.
I never thought about it like that, but okay.
Yeah. So it's important to note that. And I thought I would put that at the top rather than the end, because when we go back and listen, we want to listen with that in mind. Okay, so New Jack Swing was on the way out. This is what replaced it. Hip hop soul replaced New Jack Swing. And this is the music that took us through the rest of the 90s.
Wait. So I'm thinking about what you saying. I just processed that shit, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking about 1990. Guy was 88, right?
Yep.
Okay, so Guy was 88. The second Guy album was 91, right?
90. According to Wikipedia, and we know Wikipedia is not the gospel truth, but according to Wikipedia, The Future, Guy's second album, was released on November 13th, 1990. So that's fourth quarter, so it might as well have been 91.
Right. Okay, maybe that's why I'm thinking 91. That's interesting that you brought up that point, because I never thought about it like that. Like, yeah, Mary's style pretty much took over from where New Jack Swing left off, and I did not consider that.
Now, if you ask me, I would say that the tail end of New Jack Swing was Dangerous, the Michael Jackson album, produced partly by Teddy Riley. Mm-hmm. I think that album took New Jack Swing as far as it could go. And in my opinion, Teddy has never produced anything on that scale since. If you notice, after Dangerous, Teddy started recycling. He started taking old songs and putting new lyrics on them. He stopped writing original music.
Ooh. Whoa.
Yeah, the first Blackstreet single, Booty Call, that's built off another song, Don't Leave. That's the DeBarge sample. Yeah, so No Diggity, that was a sample. So, yeah.
Now, you know what's fucked up about what you said?
What's that? Not
wrong, but fucked up. Because it's like, oh shit, he not lying. Yo, I love Blackstreet's first album. Mm. But nigga, all that shit is recycled.
All of
you
that.
Not wrong. Mm-hmm. My favorite joint on there, I remember one of the first conversations you and I had way back when we first met, and I was telling you how much I loved Good Life on the Blackstreet album. Mm-hmm. And you was like, that's T.S. Monk. I was like, who? Good Life is still my shit, but like, dude, that's somebody else's shit.
Yeah, I thought, you know what was beyond the pale for me was when he did Jesus Is Real.
Oh God, that shit pissed me off. Now I will say this: Mark Middleton pulled that motherfucker off, though. He pulled it off.
No, Mark Middleton is cool, but I just thought that was just egregious.
It was
to just sing new lyrics over DeBarge's music.
You're not wrong. That really did. That actually upset me as well.
And call it a gospel joint. But let's get back to the nitty gritty. So here we go. So we got this out. This is the second album from Mary J. Blige. She came out with 411, Broke Wide, Gangbusters, and now she's back with the second album, My Life. And we start off with an intro.
Yo, what's up? This is Mary. Not home. Leave a message. Peace.
Hey, yo, Mary, pick up. Yo, Mary, pick up.
Yeah. What's up, huh?
Yo, what's up, nigga? Yeah. What's going on, man? Yo, I'm driving uptown, man. I'm vexed, man. Niggas out here frontin', man. Say you can't do it again, baby. Tired of this little bullshit, you know what I'm saying? Ready to put on these niggas in 9-4, man. Ready for this new album to drop, yo. Word up, man. I got the studio time booked for 10 o'clock.
So we started seeing in the mid-90s, we started seeing intros becoming very popular on albums. So
I hated that. I'm all set to talk about this because that shit pissed me off. Right around that time, along with what you mentioned about how R&B kind of shifted into that hip-hop R&B soul thing.
Yeah.
So many R&B artists started putting intros on their albums.
Yeah.
And I was like, for what? I'm not used to R&B people doing that. Just do the songs. Or as you like to say from, what's your movie?
Do the thing.
Do the thing.
Do the thing.
Just do the thing. I don't need you to do an intro, nigga. Just do the thing.
Yo. Hey, y'all. It's me. I'm back. One time for your mind. 1, 2, here we go. Like, man, fuck that.
Right?
Stop it, man.
Oh my God. But I will say this. The one part that I can put on it that I think is honestly kind of dope in a way, Puff stole that from rap and reappropriated it to try to give R&B that street feel and make people who were fans of Mary feel like, hey, I know your life. Your life is Mary's life. Mary's life is my life. And that's how y'all gonna feel her. Because she is you. She's from the streets. Mary's from Yonkers. You know, she from the street. She know the street. She is the streets.
From the streets where I come from, sucker.
Wait, where's that from?
Black Dynamite.
Oh, okay. All right. I ain't seen that in so long.
I ain't no snitch.
Oh, okay. That part I know.
If you'll excuse me, I gotta get it back to the streets where I come from, sucker.
Now, the part I know is, but Black Dynamite, I sell drugs in the community.
Now, so about Puff in the streets. Let's go back to the 80s. What people have to realize and what they may have forgotten about the 80s is that once hip hop broke wide in 87, 88, R&B was kind of seen as corny. Mm-hmm. So we talked about on the Guy episode how prior to Guy and New Jack Swing, R&B was just in a bad place.
Yep.
With the exception of, you know, because we got beige music happening on the mainstream level, you still got some funky stuff happening, you know, kind of underground. But then that area in between, it was just, there was no real artistic development going on in R&B. R&B singers were basically just holding on. If you couldn't get yourself a beige hit, if you couldn't pull off a Jeffrey Osborne, Billy Ocean, Lionel Richie type thing, then, you know, you were kind of fighting for your life as an R&B artist in the mid to late 80s. But then when New Jack Swing comes around, and then you get Puff right behind it. So Puff's whole thing was, hey, and this is what I always tell people, because, you know, people go on and on about, you know, the R&B singers. There's this stereotype about R&B singers amongst some people. And I have to tell people, R&B singers come from the same neighborhood that rappers come from.
Facts.
Okay, there's not some separate, far-off utopian dreamland where R&B singers are born. R&B singers come from the hood. You dig what I'm saying? They come from the same hood that the rappers do. They come from the same hood that the D-boys do. They come from the same hood as the gangsters. It's all the same people. It's like you and I were talking one day about gospel and R&B. And I forgot what the question was, but it was about how gospel and R&B tie together. And I said, it's the same people.
We were talking about the commissioned and Jodeci thing. Mm-hmm. That's how that came about.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, they are the same people.
Yeah, they're the same people. So it's the same thing with, you know, rappers and R&B singers. They're the same people. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so Puff took advantage of that weakness in the R&B image within the community. And he presented these young people, these young talented singers, as just like you. So you could relate to them. That was one of the selling points of hip hop and rappers, is that they were relatable. Okay, because you see a cat, you know, wearing sequins from head to toe, and you know you're eating, you know, food from Focus Hope. It's hard to relate to that guy, head to toe in sequins.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when you see Jodeci in ball caps and boots, there's that relatability factor, and Puff definitely played on that. If anybody saw the My Life documentary, they talk about that. And yeah. Puff used that formula for both Mary and Jodeci. All right, so once we get past the intro, and the intro, for anybody who's interested, if you haven't listened to the album yet, the intro is just Puff on what we called back in the 1900s an answering machine.
Why you say 1900s, nigga? Why you? Damn! That's not fair.
Yeah, back then it was an answering machine. These days it's a voicemail. But back then it was an answering machine. You know what I'm saying? You actually had an actual machine with actual tape in it. Actual small tapes. And
micro cassettes. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yes.
And when people would call your house phone, and you weren't there, you couldn't pick it up, then the answering machine would pick up and it would play the caller an outgoing message, and then the caller could leave you a message which you could then play back at your leisure. So this intro is just nothing but an answering machine message from Puff. So that brings us into the first song, and the first song is
Mary Jane, aka All Night Long.
Subtitled All Night Long. Okay. So, your feelings about this, sir?
The first thing I thought about was, why did Rick get credit over Teddy Pendergrass here? It was one of the first things I thought about when I heard it. I instantly recognized the drums, the drum pattern, which is patterned after, of course, All Night Long.
Well, let's address that. Okay. All right. So Mary Jane is subtitled All Night Long because we got the All Night Long drum pattern going here. And then in the actual song, Mary sings what?
All Night Long.
There you go. So that's Rick's writing. That's his words and his melody, his lyrics and his melody. So he has to be credited.
But then why not Teddy, though?
Who wrote Close the Door?
Ooh, you always make me look up some shit. Hold on a second.
Iron sharpens iron, brother.
I know. Hey, because that's a good ass question.
9 times out of 10, it was probably Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff.
Yeah, written by Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff.
There you go. And so, but we don't use any lyrics or melody from Close the Door. We just get that flute sample.
True. Okay. That's fair.
But equally is for catching the flute sample from Close the Door.
Yeah.
Because I really didn't think about that till you said something about it.
Oh, yeah. I definitely heard it the first time I heard that shit. I was like, let's close the door.
Close the doors. Close the doors.
Like, I mean, even like, and what was I in 94? 19? Even at 19, I knew that song. As a song, though, this is one of the songs on the album, personally for me, that I felt like was mismatched in terms of subject matter to title. It didn't really match. It was, let's just get a nigga some smooth shit to start the record off. It's a nice hip-hop flavored track. It's named after Mary, technically, because her name is Mary Jane. This song is about Mary, I guess, in a way. But, ooh, baby, not tonight. I don't want to fuss and fight. I just want to make it right. The fuck that got to do with Mary Jane? For me, it didn't match. It was one of the few songs on here. We're going to get to one of the other ones later, a few of the other ones that I feel were victim of this as well. Just critically, looking at this critically.
I think you're being a little hard on the sister, brother.
Well, I'm just saying critically.
I think you're being a little hard on the beaver.
critically. Ooh, that's funny. I know the reference to that joke. But yeah, I feel like it didn't match. Now, groove-wise, I fuck with it.
You just wanted to come in crying, oh Lord. You just wanted to come in just straight with the trauma, just right off the rip, just put the knife straight in your belly?
No. If I have my choice, the first song on this album would have been "You Bring Me Joy" instead.
And you know what? We gonna circle back around to that sentiment. So put a pin in that. To me, in my opinion, I think this is a great song to start off an album with. It's nice that they didn't just sample All Night Long, because they could have went that route, and I would put dollars to donuts. I would bet my last money and the ball of lint next to it that this started off as a sample of All Night Long. They were probably going to take the bass line, da 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 da. I bet you that's what they were going to do. But they came up with something a little bit more creative. And
wait a minute. Just as you said that, I'm hearing it in my head. Boom, ba-doom, ba-doom, boom, 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 ba-doom, boom, boom. Yeah, they were gonna do that, and Chucky was like, "Nah, let me make a new bass line."
So, but it works. It's a great cut. It's become one of her classics. You know what I mean? You will never get tired of hearing it. You know what I'm saying? So I think it was extremely effective. So, but you said that you would start the record off with "You Bring Me Joy," which happens to be the next song. So,
correct.
Tell me why "You Bring Me Joy" would be a more suitable opening cut for this album, in your opinion.
Are you serious, my nigga? You don't feel that bounce?
We'll get to my feelings about this song in a second, but I'm gonna let you rock. I'm gonna let you cook.
Ooh, the bounce of "You Bring Me Joy" off the top, and I like the extra hardness that Chucky added to it. That boom, 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 boom. That sample pops. I like that bass line, and then Mary's opening vocal harmony. Hey, that's my shit. Okay, I fuck with "You Bring Me Joy" heavy. Okay. That should have started the record off to me.
Okay, so, but how is this congruent with your opinion that Mary Jane thematically doesn't match, but this does?
Okay. Wait. Good question. And I'm going.
It was what was that? I think, was it Eddie Murphy?
Joe Lewis always lied about his age. He lied about his age all the time. One time, Frank Sinatra comes out here and sat down in this chair. And I said, "Frank, you hang out with Joe Lewis. Just between me and you, how old is Joe Lewis?" You know what Frank told me? He said, "Hey, Joe Lewis 137 years old. 137 years old."
Oh man, you ain't never meet no Frank Sinatra.
Fuck you! Fuck you and fuck you! Who's next?
I'm not gonna say that, but no, listen. Like in this case, "You Bring Me Joy," the title actually matches the content of the song. She's talking about how much joy this guy brings her.
Okay, so still, I need you to illustrate what the problem is with Mary Jane.
Because Mary Jane ain't talking about shit. It's sad. "Ooh, baby, not tonight. There's work to do. I want to get you in the lyrics didn't make sense to me, and it didn't match the title.
What's nonsensical about it?
Dude, I need to pull up the lyrics because it's fucking with me. Hang on a second. The lyrics to this shit.
"Ooh, baby, not tonight. I don't want to fuss and fight. Let's make love like we first met. All the things you want to do, just relax and I'll take care of you."
Okay, but then why is the song called Mary Jane?
Because that's her name, dog. You said it. You said it. You said it yourself. That's her name. Her name is actually Mary Jane, and there's the Rick James connection there. So, and if you want to talk about being thematically cohesive, the album is called My Life. So whose life are we talking about?
Mary Jane's.
There you go.
Okay. I didn't think about it like that, but okay, you convinced me. Because as I look at these lyrics, other than the Mary Jane Girls ripoff, I don't see the point. Like, I'm looking at these lyrics, I'm like,
So if I'm going to talk about my life, the first thing I'm going to do is introduce myself to you.
But wait. But we don't need an introduction because we know who she is from What's the 411.
But this album is my life.
Fair.
So if you want her to stick to that, like you're saying, if we're going to talk about my life, who we talking about? We're talking about me. My name is Mary Jane.
Okay. All right. You convinced me. Because at first I'm like, nigga, the fuck? What is this shit?
And I'm not trying, and we don't want to, we always talk about this. We don't want to do echo chamber. It's fine to have a difference of opinion. But I always talk about supporting your argument, right?
Right.
So I like to push your buttons and have you dig into your noggin and support those thoughts. You dig what I mean?
Which I fully appreciate. Don't get it fucked up. I fully appreciate what you're saying because you made me rethink this now. Because at first I'm looking at this like, that don't make much sense to me. But you're right. If we are talking about her album, introducing her on her own record, the first song should be about who? Her. Okay. That makes sense to me. That makes sense. Let's talk about your thoughts on You Bring Me Joy.
The time is right, I don't wanna fuss and fight. I just wanna let you.
I have never liked this song.
What?
I have never liked this song. To me, this is laziness, if you ask me. Even though there's a fine line, and we land on both sides of this line on this album.
Okay.
There's a way to use sampling in R&B, even loops, and still be creative. But this one falls on the line of laziness. Let's use this kind of thing. Ain't nobody used this yet. Let's use this.
That's fucked up how you said it. Ain't nobody used this yet. Let's use this.
Because you know good and well.
And the reason why it's so funny is because I can see them niggas saying that. I can see them saying it. That's what makes it so funny. But yeah, you're right. But you know what? Here's where I fall differently than you on it, and why I like it so much. The groove of this sample and the groove of that song. I remember the first time I heard It's Ecstasy When You Lay Down Next to Me, Fairies. I remember hearing that shit, and I always wanted somebody to loop that beginning and do something with it, you know, like a rapper or something, because it has this bounce to it, and it's just so fucking funky. Even the way the strings come in, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God.
Yeah, I don't want to invalidate your feelings about this, because a lot of people like this song. A lot of people dig this song.
Now, it's important to mention, this is one of the songs that JoJo Haley co-wrote.
Yes, JoJo from Jodeci.
Exactly. JoJo Haley from Jodeci co-wrote. Mary's sister, LaTanya Blige, also does background vocals on this, which I thought was interesting. I'm falling on the side loving it. And I think the main reason is Chucky Thompson's best talents were taking samples and reappropriating them or adding different instruments to them. He was really good at that.
Yeah.
This is in one of those moments where that talent for Chucky shines and comes out fully.
Okay. All right. So we can go on to the next one. What's the next song we got, sir?
The Marvin Interlude.
Again, I give you the baton, sir. What's your thoughts on this?
I gotta make a joke about it because I don't want to sound so grim, but I feel like the horse character from Ren and Stimpy. No, sir, I don't like it. No, sir, I don't like it. So I was looking at this thing, and by the way, for the benefit of y'all as well as us, Squirt recently put me on to this My Life Deluxe Commentary Edition. That there's a version on streaming where Mary has commentary on each of the songs from My Life. Now, I don't know about y'all, but as a fellow music nerd, I find this very interesting because it gives me perspective that I didn't glean on my own from the songs. As a fan of Mary, which I definitely am, and as a fan of My Life, which I am as well, I never actually understood the purpose of the Marvin interlude. The name Marvin is not mentioned in here. It doesn't sound like anything Marvin Gaye would have done. It don't even sound like anything Marvin Seas would have done. What the fuck? Like, what the fuck is Marvin in? What is it about? So her commentary says here, the Marvin interlude, when I heard it before I sang it, I already knew that I wanted to reference a lot of the things that Marvin did. I didn't quite nail it. No shit. Like, what the fuck? This has nothing to do with Marvin. I just did it the Mary J. Blige way. Then it should have been called the Mary interlude. Because it does not make sense to me. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying I love Mary. I'm very critical of the artist that I love. Okay? So, Mary, don't hate me if you hear this, baby, but I don't get it. And it don't make sense.
Well, she just explained it. I mean, she goes on to say, I didn't quite nail it. I just did it the Mary J. Blige way, but I knew how it felt to me when he was doing all those notes layered over each other and making them do different things in different places, reminded me of something Marvin Gaye would sing over. And I'm a huge Marvin Gaye fan, and I just always wanted to sing like him on something. Although I don't sound like him on it, it just felt like it was something I should do on this interlude. So basically, when we were talking about, let's go back to a couple episodes back when we broke down I Want You, and we talked a lot about, and even in the Heatwave episode with Johnny Wilder, about how those cats use overdubbing to layer all this vocal ambiance.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So not only harmonizing with themselves, but going beyond that. And so these cats are technicians. See what I'm saying? Yeah. Mary, while we love what she does, at this point in her career as a vocalist, it was where she wanted to do something, but she didn't know how.
Fair.
Is what we got here. She hears the way Marvin, does all his vocal layering. She wants to do something like that. She tries, but, So idea versus execution is what we got here.
Now, here's what I will say. As a good point, I think the one redeeming quality of this interlude is that it did shift the energy from You Bring Me Joy to I'm the Only Woman perfectly. It shifted the energy. And I would say for that reason, it was successful. It was not successful as a Marvin style thing. This is almost like she intended to make a pound cake, but she made a cake. And it didn't really have the pound cake flavor, the pound cake feeling, but it was successful in being cake because it kind of coasted us into the next song the way the interludes around that time period were designed to do. So I'll give her props for that. I'll give Chucky deference and respect for that as well. But outside of that, pointless.
Okay, so let's keep it moving. So the next cut is
I'm the Only Woman.
Baby, can't you see it
as always, I know this is in your wheelhouse. So lead us off, brother.
Let me tell you something here, nigga. Look, I love this song. I love it from top to bottom, side to side, everything. First of all, her use of Give Me Your Love, the Curtis Mayfield song, that was a cool little sample usage from that era. And I like how she talks about her feelings on this song. You know, she wants to be the only woman in this guy's life. Let's preface this by saying the whole album, My Life, I think was a big, huge love letter to KC around this point. And this song is one of the centerpieces of that whole argument.
Let's get behind the music just a little bit. Okay, so I wouldn't disagree with you in saying that this album is a long open letter to KC. Let's talk about KC. KC, the lead singer of Jodeci.
Correct.
Around the same time, Jodeci released their debut album. They're label mates. They're on the same label, Uptown MCA.
Correct.
They released their album in 91. Mary followed with hers in 92. And they were experiencing success on a mainstream level at the same time as very young people. So these are people in their early 20s, 20, 21, 22. KC, who's already tasted fame a little bit when he was Little Cedric of Little Cedric and the Haley Singers, when he was a gospel artist as a teenager. But now that he's coming out of his teens, now he's a mainstream R&B star. And I would say with success comes a lot of things. And the way those things present themselves to young people and how they deal with that is always challenging. So if you are a very young man, famous and successful, and you're out here singing, you can imagine some of the situations that might present themselves to KC at this time.
Correct.
Okay. So I just wanted to add that perspective in there, but you can continue on.
Well, since you mentioned about KC, I went and looked this up as well. Forever My Lady came out in 91, and then 411 came out in 92. Diary of a Madman came out in 93. Around the time Diary of a Madman came out, they were working on My Life for it ultimately to come out at the end of 94. So I see how, yeah, they're all working together. Damn, that reminds me. What year was Uptown MTV Unplugged? Wasn't that 93 as well?
I believe so. I think it was 92, 90. I want to say 93. I want to say 93 is the year.
I want to get the
hitting
exact
me.
date it happened.
And while you look at that, I'll drive the point a little bit more. So you got two young R&B stars in a relationship at the height of their fame. When you look at the lyrical content of this record, you said it's pretty much an open letter to KC. And the title of this song kind of gives you some feel of what she was trying to communicate to him. And the reason why I brought up things that young celebrities may encounter, I was saying it without saying it, but you know, if you're a young guy who's a popular singer, you're going to be dealing with groupies.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be dealing with temptation.
True.
So Mary knows that all too well. She's making a statement here.
But she was young too.
Yeah.
So I think her being young, she didn't really understand how to properly handle, you know, his forays into messing with other women and him, you know, dealing with the temptation of that. And then to be fair as well, I don't think he properly handled it.
What actually happened in their relationship, we'll get into that based on what they've told us. I don't want to speculate. We don't know if there was infidelity or not, but definitely a cat singing love songs with a voice like that, the ladies are going crazy in the audience. They're going to find out what hotel you're staying in. They're going to make their way backstage.
Agreed.
You dig what I'm saying?
Unpopular opinion, and I fully expect you to disagree. KC, for me, felt like the resurgence of Bobby Womack.
I would not discount your feelings on that. Not at all.
He felt like Bobby Womack, the new version, or the new Bobby Womack, if you would even dare say something so controversial. And by the way, I did look this up. Uptown MTV Unplugged came out on May 31st, 1993.
I thought so.
Jodeci's follow-up was December of that year, December of 93. This is the one instance in which I feel I'm the Only Woman actually matched, and them using Give Me Your Love was a actual great match. You know, the song is called Give Me Your Love. She's talking about, I'm the only woman you should be giving your love to. So the shit matches to me. I think it's actually fucking good. Interestingly enough, according to the commentary here, Mary says that she co-wrote this with JoJo from Jodeci. However, his credit is notoriously missing from the credits.
He said notoriously.
Yeah. Notorious like B.I.G. nigga.
But yeah, he's not credited here. Even though Mary says in this commentary that she wrote the song with JoJo from Jodeci, which is Casey's brother. He is credited on You Bring Me Joy, both as a producer and as a co-writer, but he's not credited on I'm the Only Woman, even though Mary kind of debunks that. So you dig this song. I dig it too. Now, people are going to say, well, Scorp, you just dogged You Bring Me Joy, but
but go on.
But you know, you like I'm the Only Woman. See, with the Give Me Your Love sample, Chucky did a little bit more with it. With You Bring Me Joy, they put a heavy kick under that 4 on the floor and called it a day. That's all they did to that.
And then used the bridge for They Bridge.
Yeah.
It was sloppy.
You know what? I had forgotten about that. That irritated the shit out of me as well. The fact that they used Barry's bridge as Mary's bridge. Yeah. So, but Chucky was a little bit more creative here with the sample, with Give Me Your Love. He added some other elements to it.
They didn't put background vocals over it. She just did a little harmonizing thing over it.
Well, it really didn't need a bombastic vocal approach, you know, because it's... Now, any other thoughts about I'm the Only Woman before we move on?
I really love this song. I'm okay with samples to a degree if you can make them effective. This was an effective use.
Agreed.
Very effective.
If you can sample effectively for R&B, then I'm with it. Yeah, I'd agree with you there.
Right, and it made it work.
All right, so what we got next?
Another dumb interlude.
I take it you ain't a fan of these interludes, Jack.
I'm not. Because you know what? I did the math real quick prior to today's festivities. 411 had 10 songs. My Life has 13. I like the number 13. I think she should have just had 13 songs, blood in, blood out, and shut the fuck up. All these interludes get on my nerves. But this era of 94, a lot of people had interludes to transition energies. And I kind of get it and okay, but I'm not a fan of them like that. I'm not.
I feel like an interlude needs to earn its runtime. It needs a reason to be here.
needs to have a purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah, wait, Chuck, count some of that smooth shit.
Got more milky syllables.
That said, the K Murray, which stands for Keith Murray, the K Murray interlude to me is absolutely pointless.
Yep. Agree.
Now, what you were saying earlier, your complaint about Mary Jane not matching, this has nothing to do with Mary or her album.
Okay.
this dude rapping for like, and it's not even a full verse. I can see if it was a full verse. This dude is rapping for like 20 seconds. So what? The interlude itself is 23 seconds from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
For what?
And then wait a minute. What makes it even dumber is Puff come on talking about, hey, yo, Chuck, put on some smooth shit.
If I wanted to listen to Keith Murray, I'd go listen to Keith Murray's album. If he's not going to do a guest spot, you dig what I'm saying?
Right.
Then why is he here? You know what I'm saying? And you give him a whole song to himself, a whole, a piece of this album to himself. For what? Seriously.
It doesn't make sense.
This is a skip every time. Every time.
The only thing I will say as a nerd point that I think we should introduce and make note of, this interlude, the verse that Keith Murray kicks on here, two things about it. Number one, it originally was supposed to be Biggie, according to soulculture.com, where they interviewed Chucky Thompson talking about my life. It was originally supposed to be Biggie and the verse he did for Who Shot Ya, or for what became Who Shot Ya.
Right.
But it was switched to Keith Murray at the last minute because Puffy wanted to avoid the parental advisory sticker. Number two is this verse that Keith Murray actually uses, or the snippet of it we hear here, ended up being used for Eric Sermon's second album, Double or Nothing, on a song called Tell 'Em.
Okay.
It was actually used on there. But it doesn't make any sense to me.
Now, let me say this. If this were Biggie on here, then it would make sense.
Yeah.
Because Biggie was Puffy's artist.
Correct.
You dig what I'm saying?
Correct.
So that would make a little more sense than Keith Murray. Keith Murray he's not on Uptown. He's not on Bad Boy. You dig what I'm saying? So to my knowledge, he hasn't collaborated with Mary in the past. Like in the past, you had Mary with Grand Poobah and some other rappers. You know what I'm saying? So there was already that relationship. Keith Murray is just a random out of nowhere. But you make a good point. The music underneath this is the beat for I Shot You.
Who Shot You?
Who Shot You? Damn.
Correct.
LL Cool J put out a record called I Shot You about a year or so later. So Keith Murray brings us to what song, sir?
The smooth shit.
Well played. Well played. Well played.
My Life, the title cut.
The title track.
Except for the man of the love, yeah, because he'll give you love. If you looked into my life and see what I've seen, oh, you will see I'm so if you looked in my life and see what I've.
So again, I hand the baton off to you, my brother. What are your feelings on the title track, My Life?
Okay, this was a brilliant usage of the Roy Ayers. Of course, Everybody Loves the Sunshine, as everybody knows, and what Mary lyrically they put over it. If you look at My Life, you see what I've seen. It's an extension of where Roy went with the original song. And so for a sample usage, this was perfect to me. The only thing I think this is missing is something that Mary would later do that I thought was perfect and made up for it. Have you ever heard her third album, Share My World?
Yeah, I bought it. Yeah.
Okay. On the third album, she had Roy on a remake of Searching, where she used the sample for Searching, right? And she had Roy do a vibraphone solo on it. Mm-hmm. So I think they should have had Roy on this. And so she kind of made up for not doing that on this one on Searching. But going back to this song itself, I thought the lyrics were great. In the lyrics, Mary was reaching out to her fan base to show, hey, we're all struggling. We're all dealing with something. I know life gets hard, but you'll make it. Turn this negative energy into a positive. Hang on, hang in there. My life is fucked up, so I understand yours is too, but we both can have it good if we hang in there and look at the sunshine. Ow. I love that about this. I love that. I totally internalized all that from what she meant on this song, and I loved it. I fell in love with it.
Okay. All right. So, again, you're going to look at me and say, Scorp, you just dogged out the Barry White sample a couple songs ago. Then you flip-flopped and you were cool with the Curtis Mayfield sample. Now, I don't know how. But somehow, I'm completely accepting of the sample, her singing over this sample. Chucky doesn't really mess with the sample. There's not a whole lot to it. And pretty much it's kind of the same thing as You Bring Me Joy. I don't know why I like this more than that. I like this infinitely more than that. And the fact that the song is called Everybody Loves the Sunshine and it gives off, this ethereal, peaceful vibe. I'm still wondering how they pull this off. Mary actually manages to make the music feel dark. She's singing these lyrics about, getting past, your challenges and things like that, and having faith and things like that. You can still feel the place of despair that it comes from.
I think that's because of her blackness and her trajectory through said blackness.
It's possible. It's very possible, but
that's what I
don't know. Yeah, I could attribute it to the melody. I think the melody that Mary uses on this is cool, very cool, to give me that sense of despair and to give me that feeling of darkness inside without changing a note of the music. I'm still marveling over that however many years later.
That's dope that you said that.
Yeah.
That's dope. Because she says here that so many fans come up to her and say the My Life song is their favorite. And the My Life song, and she says even herself, My Life song saved my life. Here's where I think it wins. As a black man who's doing therapy, talking about your shit helps you through said shit.
Yeah.
If you think about it. And that's exactly what she does here. She talks about her shit and it helps guide her through it and makes her feel, it changes her mood. I think that's definitely one of the major parts of it. Chucky redoing the music to it, I think it's a brilliant reproduction.
But no, this is one of my favorite songs on the record. This is one of my favorite Mary J. Blige songs.
Agreed.
I don't know, but somehow she gets a pass with me. Maybe it's the relatable thing. I don't know, but this is getting back to my life and the lyrics, and we were talking about lyrics earlier and Mary as a writer. This is where it all comes together. Like we were talking about, she couldn't do the Marvin vocal acrobatics and stuff like that.
Right.
Like I said, we already know she's not a technical singer. She doesn't come from a place of technique. She comes from a place of just feeling, right. And her gift is that she's able to convey that feeling so that it resonates with the audience.
Correct.
When she sings this song, I feel the despair, the place of despair she's singing it from. So that's Mary's gift above all of her peers. That's where she smoked all of her peers. Yeah. Any other young R&B singers at the time, they not around. She still is. Why? Because of Mary's ability to convey emotion with her voice.
One of the realest things you ever said to me, and we won't name the singers because I don't want to start shit. We were talking about some new singers who are out now, and you were mentioning a song that did, and you was like, I don't believe them.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe Mary. I've always believed her. Whatever she's singing about, Nigga, she done been through that shit. And she's back from hell to tell you what the fuck she saw. Exactly how hot that shit was, what the fire looked like. She know it and she feel it. And that's the best feature about Mary Jane motherfucking goddamn Blige. You feel her. You feel her. If you can't feel Mary J., you need medical intervention.
So one of the ways you can tell somebody who's an artist as a singer is if they sing the song and you think that it comes from their personal experience, but they didn't write a word of it.
I could agree with that.
So if you can sing a song as if you lived it, but you didn't, then you have a gift as a vocalist. And Mary J. Blige has that gift. Okay, so let's keep it moving.
We are coming to a pair of my favorites on the album. First one is You Gotta Believe.
All right, let's talk about it.
Can we talk about it? Can we talk about it? Nigga, this my shit. I love this fucking song. I want to also mention this song features the resurgence of a voice that we used to hear. Since you mentioned New Jack Swing, Big Bub, or Big Bubba from Today, who was part of the New Jack Swing era with his group Today. Yep. He's a co-writer on this song, and also I believe he's not in the backgrounds. I think he's in the backgrounds as well. They don't have him listed here, but he is in the backgrounds. That's crazy. He's uncredited, but he's definitely in the backgrounds because I hear him loud as shit, and he's a co-writer on this song.
For our audience, Big Bub. Big Bub is the stage name of Fred Lee Drakeford. Now, the first time we see Big Bub is, like he said, in a group called Today. Big Bub was the lead singer. Big Bubba at that time was the lead singer of Today. And Today had a couple of really big hits. Their debut single was probably their biggest hit, and it was called Him or Me.
That's my shit. Oh my God, that's my shit.
That is one of the hallmark New Jack Swing songs is Him or Me. And then the second single is one of my personal favorites. Now you want to talk about samples. The second single was called Girl, I Got My
Eyes on You. Yeah.
For me and you, it'll make my day so far. Easy one. I want you to know that I got my eyes on you. I got my eyes on you. I'm watching you, baby.
What, they Jack Carey Lucas? Yeah, they jacked the shit out of that.
Now that is a replay. Teddy Riley, replay. Show me where you're coming from.
Agree.
And they made something new out of it. I don't know if Today put out a second album, did they?
Ooh, good question.
I think Today was a victim of the fallout between Teddy Riley and Gene Griffin.
Ooh, you know what? You right, because you know who did have an album after them?
Basic Black.
Basic motherfucking goddamn Black. Yes, sir.
Which was half one part Today, one part Guy, and put it in a blender.
Ooh, they did have a second album called The New Formula. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so we don't get too far off the subject. This was one of the 2 original songs on the album. Actually, I could say one of 3. One of the 3 original songs where I can't clearly...
No samples.
No samples, right. 4. Actually 4. If we technical. We'll get to it later. But technically, one of the 4 songs that didn't really have a prevalent sample as the main motivation. Mm-hmm. And it really was creative content for the 90s, for R&B, for what they were doing in there at that point. What she says in the commentary about this is Big Bub helped to harness the things that she was insecure about, and he put that into this song. And again, just like therapy, her talking about it healed kind of in this. What Mary says here is, Gotta Believe is basically about me just letting a person know that I'm here, I'm not going anywhere. You gotta believe, you have to believe in me, just believe in us. And now the song, it works for other people just in their life and just believing in something, believing in themselves, believing in, something good. So this song is just positive all the way around. The coolest part to this song was KC's vocal that he had in there, where he says, hey Mary, I hear you loud and clear. Musically though, we see the emergence of Herb Middleton on this song as well, alongside Chucky. And I think it was a brilliant usage of Herb Middleton's talents.
But let me ask you, do we know anything about Herb Middleton outside of this record?
What I know about him is he also ended up producing with Crystal Johnson. In the last 15 years, Crystal Johnson did an album called The Day Before Heaven, and Herb kind of helped out with some of the stuff on that. She has a real nice song called Butterfly that Herb...
Have we ever heard of Herb prior to My Life?
I want to say no.
Okay.
I don't think so. Have you?
Not to my immediate recollection, no.
Well, let's let the computers pewt on now. Mm-hmm.
Now, while you do that, I can go ahead and comment on this song. This is the first all original composition on the album, like my brother said. It's a straight up 90s R&B slow jam. All of the accoutrements that come with R&B slow song in the 90s are here in this song right here. You got KC, Mary's boyfriend at the time, backing her up vocally and making a little cameo, but he's also listed as a songwriter here along with a couple of other people. Let's see. So you got Big Bub, like we mentioned before, and we got Chucky Thompson, and Puffy gets a writing credit too. Why, I don't know. Well, we do know. We know exactly why. But we also get the first Faith Evans writing credit on this
Correct.
album with
Correct.
You Gotta Believe.
We do.
And we got her on the background vocals as well, right?
Correct.
Okay. And let me say this. Some people, background singing is an art form in and of itself.
Correct.
Okay? There's ways to do it and there's ways not to do it. Faith on this album, even though Faith is technically a better singer than Mary, we know that.
She is.
She supports Mary beautifully on these background vocals.
I agree.
She blends with Mary in these background vocals. You agree or you feel different?
I totally agree. I think that's the best feature about Faith as a singer is since she started as a background vocalist, she knows how to play her position, whether it's support or leading. Faith is from the church.
Yeah.
And I think that's a gift of hers, is that from being from the church, if you were a proper singer from the church, you knew when it was time for you to solo and you knew when it was time for you to blend, right? And Faith did both things perfectly. Now, the greatest part about Faith is her blends and her backgrounds are so fucking good that when you hear her, it almost puts her out in front in her talent because she's so good at blending. One of the most famous blends that Faith contributed to was Usher's debut album. And it's a major reason I love that album is Faith Evans being on it, because she blended so perfectly into what was going on, and she made it shine more than young Usher's leads did. So yeah, Faith was definitely talented in that. Moving back over to Herb Middleton real quick, I'm looking at his bio, and he did a lot of work with Big Bub in '93. Big Herb, as he's called, worked closely with Puffy on several projects. Herb contributed his musicianship and production skills in a collaborative effort to create a classic hit titled Can't You See by Total featuring Biggie Smalls. In '94, Herb produced ballads on Mary J. Blige's My Life album, You Gotta Believe and Never Wanna Live Without You. So he was definitely an instrumental piece of this whole thing. It also says here that Big Herb's sound was discovered by Teddy Riley. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
According to this bio, it says, yeah, he was discovered.
I did not hear about that.
I did not hear about that. Big Herb received his biggest opportunity to co-write a song with Teddy Riley and Bernard Bell for Bobby Brown. The song title is One More Night. Where's that from?
Probably the third Bobby Brown album, Bobby. It's probably on Bobby, but let's get back to Mary.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, it is on that. Okay.
Okay. Any other thoughts about this record? Gotta Believe. You Gotta Believe.
I have nothing else. I'd like to move on to the next one.
Okay. Mark Wahlberg had a song out called You Gotta Believe.
Don't ever try to front. And it's quite absurd. Yo, word to herd. When you're sleeping on the Wahlberg, step to this and I'ma break you down at your knees. So you gotta believe.
Why you have to remind me, man? I like the vocalist on there, whoever that was.
Okay, I'm sorry. I veered off. Okay, on to the next song. What we got, sir?
I Never Want to Live Without You.
Okay.
Now that I have the answer, I'll be wishing on a star. I'll follow you where you are. I don't wanna be alone. So baby, let's stay together through any kind of weather. Yeah, let's make a happy home.
Rock and roll.
And also, let me mention this by virtue. I Never Want to Live Without You is the longest song on the album.
6 minutes and 17 seconds.
Yeah, I got 6:20. But okay.
Okay, well,
I'll go
somewhere around there. Then
I'll go with that.
You Gotta Believe it's 5 minutes. The songs are getting a little longer here as we go.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Not longer. Here's what I will say. I Never Want to Live Without You is pretty much the middle of the album, kind of coming toward the middle. And the fact that it's the longest almost makes it a peak. And then everything kind of goes down from there as far as the song length. Everything is shorter.
Gotcha. What you think about this one?
It's actually my favorite original song on the whole album.
Okay.
is actually one of my favorite songs on the whole record. You can clearly hear Faith on this in the background.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Faith comes through beautifully on here.
She is loud as fuck on this shit. It's beautiful. And to me, this was the nexus of Chucky's other talent. Chucky was so good at doing replays that every once in a while he attempted original music as well. And this original music for me, I think, was just fucking stellar. Lyric wise, the lyrics really matched the title. She was talking about how the absence of this person made her feel.
Mm-hmm. And for the record, this is one of Mary's favorites, this song here.
It should be. This is a bad motherfucker. This is a motherfucking cut, bro. If somebody were to ask me, give me one song where Mary don't sample nothing, boom.
There you go. Family Affair, you could.
Wait a minute. You had to bring up Family Affair with that motherfucking doomsday ass music.
Oh Lord. I probably shouldn't talk about this here, but that's one of the things that I feel the downfall of hip hop is like. At some point in the 90s, everybody was trying to make the music sound scary. What is all this chamber music bullshit?
Right.
And Dre was one of the worst offenders. It just string patches all day. I'm like, dog, stop it.
Sometimes it worked. Sometimes it worked.
Give me an example.
Been there, done that. The comeback song he had when he first started Aftermath.
Yeah.
That worked. I like that. I like Been There, Done That. And I even like the interlude at the end where he had the little chamber music thing. Oh, I was like, nigga, that shit is dope. I fuck with that heavy.
Again, I shouldn't have veered off. Let's get back to
Adele Givens. Adele Givens had a whole joke routine talking about how Mary J. Blige didn't have one original song out.
Oh, wow. No, I don't actually.
Oh my God, nigga, that shit was hilarious. She was talking about every song she got is somebody else's shit. And she had a whole joke routine about that. The end of this song, the part where they go,
baby, won't you stay? Stay with me for a little while.
where they go into that, what would you call that?
I want to say a coda, but
okay, you're right. There you go. That's exactly the coda of that shit. Nigga is fucking fantastic. It kind of swings you down slowly to the pillow. This shit is fucking fantastic.
Oh, okay, wow.
It's literally my favorite song on the whole record.
Really now?
I'm gonna say that.
All right.
It is my favorite song on the whole fucking album.
Now, this song comes up again. If any of you have a copy of the 1994 album by Sister. Okay. Sister was a 4-woman singing group. And one of the principals of that group was a young Melissa Misdemeanor Elliott.
Correct.
They were signed by Devontae Swing to his Swing Mob label. Mm-hmm. The album was produced by Devontae Swing and Timbaland. That's how it's credited. Produced by Devontae Swing and Timbaland. And there's a song called Feel of Your Lips. And at the end of the song, Mary comes in, does a little cameo, and she's singing this. So she's singing the hook to I Never Want to Live Without You. Then KC comes in, sings it as well as an answer to her. So yeah, so there's a little snatch of I Never Want to Live Without You in Feel of Your Lips by Sister.
You gonna make me go back and listen to that because I forgot about that.
And I highly recommend that album.
Oh, the album is dope.
If you can get your hands on it, I highly recommend that album. I thought that was one of the best R&B albums of the 90s. I don't think it was released. I think some copies got out, but I don't think it actually saw a straight up full scale release.
Okay, so technically
I think it was shelved.
It was shelved at first, but eventually it came out on iTunes.
Really?
Yeah, it came out on iTunes, I want to say 10 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, it didn't get a proper release when it was supposed to.
It did not. You are right.
The single came out. The single was brand new, and there was a video for it.
I bought that shit. Yeah.
But I just so happened to be working in a capacity where I had access to the album, and I was knocked out by it. I thought it was great.
Okay, so let's say that to correct the record, it is the debut and sole studio album recorded by Sister, released September 20th, 1994 on Elektra Records. Although the album received positive reviews from music critics, the work was eventually shelved due to the first single not having much success on the charts. However, in May 2017, For All the Sisters Around the World was officially released on digital and streaming platforms by Rhino Entertainment. So you are correct. It kind of came out September 20th, but then didn't come out and kind of maybe was put out and taken back and then eventually issued in May of 2017.
Okay.
Because I remember when this came out. Vahe told me about it.
Oh, okay.
Because he was a big fan of it. Yeah, shout out to Vahe. What up, dog?
Yeah, shout out to Vahe down there in the land of Oz. All right, so
land of Oz. But go ahead, man.
All right, so what we got up next?
We move on to the remake of the album, I'm Going Down.
Sleep don't come easy. Boy, please believe me. Since you've been gone, everything's going wrong. Why'd you have to say goodbye? Look what you done to me. I can't stop these tears from falling from my eyes. Ooh, baby, I'm going down.
Now, before we jump into this, I want to say that, okay, so Faith's album came out the following year. A lot of people really dig Faith's album, Faith's debut album.
Yeah.
But to me, I think they tried to Xerox the formula. So basically, they pulled some clothes out of Mary J's closet and put them on Faith. And I think that's been a weight around her neck as an artist throughout her career.
I could agree.
So we got I'm Going Down here, but then on Faith's album, we get another Rolls Royce remake, Love Don't Live Here Anymore, with Mary as the guest. It's a duet. I just thought that was the laziest shit in the world.
But you know what? There's room for both theories to exist. Because I do agree with you. It was lazy as shit. But nigga, I love that shit.
Oh, okay, well, word up.
Did you hear the story about that remake?
No.
Puffy instructed both of them to go get drunk and not come back.
I did hear that.
And not come back until they were drunk as shit and then record it. Bro, we hear the most pain, the most down in the dumps, gutter, motherfucking bucket hurt on that tape.
Just a vacancy. Love don't live here anymore.
And it is the best use of both of their talents.
Now you pumping it up, so I'm gonna have to go back and revisit now. Now let me tell you this. Let me add to what I just said. We have to go into my opinion, knowing that I think that the original, the Rolls Royce recording of Love Don't Live Here Anymore, is perfect record.
It is. It is.
I agree. Everything that you hear from start to finish is supposed to be there, and everything is in its right place. There's not a hair out of place on that record, and I mean that in the best way.
Love don't live here anymore, just emptiness and memories of what we had before. You went away, found another place to stay, another home. You've abandoned me. Love don't live here anymore. Just a vacancy, babe. Love don't live here anymore.
There's no flaws on that record whatsoever.
Not even one. Not even one. That record is flawless. You're right.
And it didn't hit me until I was a full-grown adult. Because, you hear the song, all through your childhood and stuff. But one day, my undivided attention, I listened to that song, and I was like, whoa, this shit is perfect. If I was a record producer, I would do the exact same thing. Norman Whitfield's production on that song, man. Anyway, point being,
I got to say this to what you saying as well, and it's going to sound crazy.
Okay, we can stop on the story before we get back to the road. Okay, go ahead.
And you're probably not going to believe me. Even when I heard that song as a youngster in my 7, 8, 9, 10 when it came out.
That came out in 77.
Okay, well, when I heard it.
You heard it.
I heard it when I was 8, 9, or 10. I loved that song from the first time I heard it. Shit like that is what made me want to produce. Perfect, flawless. Ugh.
And we got to give Gwen Dickey something, because we don't really mention her by name. We lump her in with the whole group, and she's still with us. She's still alive and kicking. But Gwen Dickey's performance, and it's a performance, Jack. Her performance on Love Don't Live Here Anymore is something to be studied. Okay, we didn't stop at the store. We stopped at the gas station. We went to the bathroom. Now we can get back on the road. All right.
Okay.
Mary J. Blige's rendition of I'm Going Down. How you feel about it, brother?
I was originally not aware that this was a remake, because I'm one of the few black people who had never really seen Car Wash at that point. I saw it years later. But at first, I had never seen Car Wash, so I didn't know that this was an old song.
Serious? I'm having a hard time processing that. You never heard I'm Going Down prior to this?
I had not.
Wow, that is interesting, Jack. We grew up in the same place. Okay, but I digress, sir. Please continue.
I was not aware that this was a song by Rolls Royce. By this point, I am 19. My musical sense made me feel like, oh, yeah, there's got to be a remake, because it sounds old. It feels old. Like the way the arrangement is done, all of that shit sounded old to me. So I knew it was an old song. I just had to go back and do the research and find out where it came from. Arrangement-wise, one of the things that jumped out at me on this was Prince Charles Alexander was mainly responsible for the arrangement and the mixing on this, as well as probably the contracting of the different musicians. On a Detroit shout out, because you know how we say everybody comes from Detroit, Regina Carter is one of the violinists on this record. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
That's right.
I did not hear about that.
You did not hear about that? Yeah, musically, Mary nailed it. She nailed the feeling. Dare I say, and this is going to be a controversial opinion coming from your boy, I like Mary's version better than the original.
Let me take 40 feet and step back.
You don't want God to strike you down while we're in the same.
So when the thunderbolt hits you and electrocutes
Yo, I really do. I like this better than the original. This remake was perfect for her. Now, Love Don't Live Here Anymore? No. Vocally, they didn't touch it. They did okay there, even Drunk. Faith was functional. Mary was okay on that. But on this, I think she nailed it better than the original. That's just me.
Alrighty then. And we respect your opinion here, sir. Needless to say, my opinion differs. Let me start by saying, I have no problem with this song. Mm-hmm. I don't have any issues with it. I just wouldn't place it above the original. If I want to hear I'm Going Down, I'm going to go listen to the Rolls Royce version, though.
Ooh.
So that's how I'll put that. This song is like musically identical. They tried to Xerox this song. It's all played live and all that good stuff, but they tried to match Rolls Royce's record exactly to the letter. And they did a pretty good job of it. And, you know, it worked. It was a hit. There's nothing wrong with this. But, you know, I just prefer the original. That's all.
And guess what, though? Victor Bailey.
Yeah.
Player on there.
Yeah.
I'm just looking him up. He was in Weather Report from 80.
He replaced Jocko.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he replaced Jocko Pastorius in Weather Report. Yeah.
Holy shit. His uncle was Donald Duck Bailey, a jazz drummer who played on numerous Blue Note records. Jimmy Smith Trio, Hampton Hawes, Carmen McRae. Wow, that's dope.
Yeah, Victor Bailey was a cool brother. Passed away far too young.
2016 at 56, yeah.
Yeah.
Says here he had Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease for most of his adult life.
Yeah, he had a rare disorder. And, you know. But yeah, rest in peace to Victor Bailey. Check out Victor Bailey. Check out his work. He left behind a nice discography for you to check out. Check out Victor Bailey. But yeah, he was the bass player here. So, like I said, there's nothing wrong with this song. I can't find fault with it. I just, you know, the original kind of takes, it's, you know, the 95-10, like you say.
Right. Also,
95-100 is what you say. I'm sorry. 95-100.
Right, 95-100. Also of note is Mark Ledford. Damn, he dead too. Shit. Mark Ledford is from Detroit.
Is he? I knew that name sounded real familiar when I looked at it earlier.
Mark Ledford from Detroit, born in 1960, passed away in 2004. As a matter of fact, 10 years after this album, he passed away. And of course, I mentioned already Regina Carter, wonderful violinist who was part of Quartet Indigo, which was mistakenly called the Indigo Quartet on The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Did you know that?
Yeah, I know what? That they messed up the name on the Lauryn album?
Yeah.
No.
They did. But anyway, that said, we're moving on to what I mistakenly said earlier, the interlude, the My Life interlude.
This is my life.
What were your feelings about this useless interlude, sir?
Man, it's a skip. Like the rest of the interludes on this album, it's a skip. And I'm not going to hold these interludes against her. This is probably Puffy's influence that we're seeing.
I agree. You know what? I felt the same way about the interlude on Faith's album. That was in kind of the same spot right before the Love Don't Live Here Anymore. She's talking about her child. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, it's cute that you're talking about your baby, but get to the music. Like, okay, I don't need all these interludes to move the energy. Just do the songs. Ugh. You know? Now, I will say musically, I thought what was really cool here, Chucky Thompson played keys that kind of felt like Strawberry Letter 23. Did you notice that?
You know what? Actually, I got a different song out of it.
Oh. Well, pray tell us, sir.
The synth that Chucky is playing is the same synth from Stay by Jodeci.
Oh, you're right. I hear it now.
Even the orchestra hit the Devontae used that on stage too.
You right. Shit. I hear it now. Now that you said that, it jumped out at me and slapped me in the face. I hear it. Yep, stay. And she's talking about this is my life. And by the way, we hear Faith on the background vocals loud as shit.
Clearly, yeah.
Yeah.
But she's not credited.
Wait. She's not.
She's not credited on that interlude.
Not the computers are puting, but the book is booking. Because I'm looking at the credits right now. Yeah, she's not credited. Anyway, moving on to the next song, which is what I would like to do and not talk about that interlude.
All right.
Useless shit. The next song is Be With You. I'm going to defer to you first because I got quite a few things to say about this.
Okay. All right. Here we go. So we were talking about this before we started recording. And so you hit me with your theory on this about the production. And this is produced by Chucky. So Herb Middleton did his thing and he's out. You said, you heard, elements from 3 other songs here and and I'll give you that. But you said the drums are
Long Red by Mountain.
You out there? Louder! Well, clap your hands to what he's doing. On tempo, Jack. Yeah!
okay. I'm thinking that sample is really noisy because that version of the song where we get the sample from is a live recording.
Correct.
Yeah, so there's a lot of noise going on there, and it's hard to chop up into individual kit pieces. So to get a clean snare out of that sample would take a lot of noise reduction and gating and stuff like that. We were talking about that. But then you introduced the idea that you think Chucky might have replayed the Long Red drums.
Well, no, I didn't say that.
Oh, you didn't? I'm sorry for misquoting you. So what did you say?
No, what I said was Chucky, I think, gated, like you said. I think he gated and did some trickery to the Long Red to cut out a lot of the noise and then played drums on top of it. That's what I think he did. But Long Red is in there as like the background drums. I'll say as a producer, I learned this trick from producers like this, where you have another drum sample running in the background and then you got one on top of it. I've made beats like this, where you got like a background drum sample that's kind of running in the background to give you that funk that you want, and then you just put your own shit on top of it. And that's kind of what Chucky did here. The other 2 samples that I think are prominent here that were replayed with Chucky's skill is the keyboard line from High Powered off of Dr. Dre's The Chronic, which, if I'm not mistaken, that was originally played by Colin Wolfe, right? Or Chris, the Glove Taylor.
Probably Colin Wolfe.
And then Straighten It Out by Pete Rock and CL Smooth, the famous guitar lick from that.
Yeah.
That's replayed here as well. So this is kind of...
You think.
I think
because I think that's just a straight sample from the record. That it's the same sample that Pete Rock used for Straighten It Out, and the name of that sample is escaping me right now. It's
I think that's a fresh guitar lick they did on their own. I think that's the original.
Any other day of the week, I know the answer to this. What's the sample for Straighten It Out?
How about let's look it up.
Let the computers pew, brother.
Our Generation by Ernie Hines.
Yes. I think Chucky just sampled it. Why not?
That's another sore spot in my knowledge. It's the first Kool in the Gang shits.
Ooh. I tell you what. I tell you how you can remedy that real quick. If you remember back in the mid-90s, Polygram was like, oh, y'all want a sample? Cool. So they started reissuing a bunch of old R&B and funk stuff. They gave Kool in the Gang 2. So it was Kool in the Gang 1969 through 1976. Hold on.
You talking about Funk Essentials?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So it's that Funky Centrals. It came out in like 93, but they did two of them. They did to represent both eras of Kool and the Gang. So the first one was the best of Kool and the Gang, 69 to 76. That'll get you right. That's a nice primer, a real nice primer. If you're trying to get in the early Kool and the Gang, Kool and the Gang, phase 1 and phase 2 is kind of the same as Ohio Players, Westbound versus Mercury.
Ooh. Good analogy. Now, I do have Gangthology. I've heard that. I have that gang.
I like that title.
That set Gangthology, this one and this too. I have that. I really want the Edsel box that has Kool and the Gang phase 1 stuff, all the albums from that era in one box. But let's move on, because we can talk about Kool and the Gang for the whole show.
Yeah, we ain't even touched Be With You yet. Even though we've been dealing with samples and stuff like that, this one has got a straight up hip hop bounce to it.
It does.
I can't deal with the fact that you don't want me around. Why you wanna see me down? It's so unusual that you don't love me no more. Why you wanna close the door? I spent all my day.
You dig? So even though it's a little on the slow side, it's got a hip hop bounce to it. I like the way Chucky freaked this one.
Right.
And as far lyrically, it's pretty much her begging KC to love her, like the rest of the album.
I mean, again, we already said that this is an open.
you could just read the titles of this album. You Bring Me Joy. I'm the Only Woman. You Gotta Believe. I Never Want to Live Without You. I'm Going Down. Be With You. Don't Go. I Love You.
No one else. All of it is a love letter to KC.
I just thought about that. You could just read the damn titles. But no, I like this though. Well, where you at on it?
Where I'm at with it is, this is to me one of the 4 original songs I talked about earlier when I was kind of counting and thinking at the same time. This is one of the 4 original songs, and even though it does have samples in it, it's not a straight loop. They kind of use that hip hop bounce, that hip hop soul you were talking about. It's used to great effect here. If somebody were to ask me to define the hip hop soul sound of Mary outside of just a straight up loop, I would use Be With You.
Really now?
Yes, because it kind of exemplifies that. The hip hop is in the high powered sample, the long red usage, the straighten it out usage, and pieces of those to fit into the grander puzzle of making a rhythm and blues song. Ironically, according to the notes on her commentary, she does say that this was like one of the first tracks that started the whole My Life album writing process, which I thought was interesting, that this started the whole thing off. It was kind of cool. Now, personally, I went crazy when I heard the beginning, Come On, because I don't know about you, man, but the Chronic cut open my brain, cut open my skull, my upper,
the cranium,
cut my shit open, right? Took my brain out, cleaned it off, and put it back and sewed my shit up. The Chronic is fucking amazing. As a production, when I first heard it in high school, I was floored. I was like, you can do shit like this? I couldn't believe it, Essentially, what I think we see with Puff was taking elements from the Chronic and flipping it on his head and letting people sing over it. If you want to be honest, that's the way I kind of see how Puffy's whole idea came about, was the next thing to making R&B palatable for the streets is to give niggas the street shit. Give them the street shit they used to hearing in rap and flip it on his head and do that for R&B. That's where Puff's genius came in with this record with what he did for Jodeci, because Jodeci looked like niggas straight up on the streets. But when they sang, you forgot they was about the streets. You know? They even made them look elegant in the Stay video. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
That was Puff's genius.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Totally. But no, seriously, Puff has a gift. And Puff's gift was making street shit commercially mainstream acceptable.
Agreed.
Because think about it. Look at Biggie. Would you ever think that that person would be on R&B radio?
Never.
You know what I'm saying? So that was Puff's talent. That was his gift. He could make street shit commercially viable. Mm-hmm. That's also Dre's gift too.
I can agree with that. Dre made me actually like Snoop Dogg, which I don't now. But yeah, back when Doggy Style came out, I was like, yo, this dude is crazy dope. I still love Doggy Style to this day. That intro, I know that intro by heart, dog.
I mean, because think about it. Let's take a street rapper. You know what I'm saying? You could either be Biggie or you could be, say, Black Moon.
I'd rather be Biggie.
That's two different careers altogether. And they're not from different worlds. They come from pretty much the same type of world. They come from the same type of perspective. But the career trajectory, two different things.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to dog Black Moon. Black Moon was successful.
It was solid.
And Boot Camp Click and all that. But, you know what I'm saying, Biggie was on the Michael Jackson album.
Yep. He was.
And he was, and again, like I said, street shit mainstream. Look at the verse that Biggie put on the Michael Jackson album. Now, Puffy didn't want to put the verse on Mary J. Blige record. So Big goes over to Michael Jackson's studio and says, Indo smoke got me choking. I'm hoping a fool starts slipping so I could blow him open. I'm a killer, nigga. I ain't joking.
Oh wait, he says that on that song?
Yeah. You please tell me you've heard.
I have it. I've heard
it. Okay.
But I've never really thought about what Biggie said on there. I was just geeked that he was on it.
So I've derailed the conversation again, and I apologize.
That's okay.
That's okay. Mary's joint. So we going from Be With You to Mary's joint.
I know that you're just a man, but you're all the man I need. And I know that you care and you never leave. No, you never leave. I love you so I can't let go.
Do I have to talk about this one?
Of course. You owe it to your audience, sir.
Let me first of all say,
you've laid down a legacy of hot takes.
I have.
So you got to live up to your reputation, brother.
I will say that I love this song for the song itself, the vibe itself. Again, it's one of the 4 original songs I talked about. And just for reference, when we talk about original songs, I'm talking about songs that don't really have one main sample as their genesis. They kind of, maybe they're an amalgamation of things. Those 4 original songs to this point would have been You Gotta Believe, I Never Want to Live Without You, Mary's Joint, as well as Be With You. With Mary's Joint, I love the vibe of this song. I like the hook, but Mary's Joint as a title does not fit. It does not make sense just to call it Mary's Joint. It sounds like there was a deadline. She could not come up with a title, right? The title could have been The Way I Feel. The title could have been You Know It's Real. The title could have been Can't Let Go, right? Could have been I'm a Sad Bitch. Could have been anything. But to call it Mary's Joint is whack as fuck. And I love the song. Don't get it fucked up. I think this is showing Chucky's brilliance on this. I love the background arrangements. I love how it comes off. And it's beautiful in all aspects except for that motherfucking shit ass title. That's all I got.
I'm going to ask you to extend the same grace to Mary's Joint as I asked you to give Mary Jane.
The only way I would do that is if I smoked the same joint she smoked when she came in with that title.
That joint might be laced, sir.
Yeah, you ain't lying. Shit. Laced with all types of bullshit and turmoil.
That might be a 51, Jack.
But now, let's not get it fucked up because I don't want to sound mean. I love the song in all other aspects. I love it. I think it's beautiful. I think it fits within the general idea of what she was going for with this record, of talking about her life and the pain she feels within this relationship. Why can't we work it out, baby? Why don't we try? You know, all of that. I think all of that is perfect to this song. The lyrics hit me. Her vocal performance is great. I love all the musical movements in it, all of it, right? But that title is just a no. It's a no.
And she wrote this one on her own, lyrically. The lyrics she wrote herself. Chucky's on the music, and then Puffy gets his obligatory songwriting credit on here. But yeah, no, I like the music here. I really do like the music here. And it's the first, is this the first original Chucky joint on the record?
Technically.
Okay.
Yeah, by himself. Yeah, correct.
Because Herb Middleton handled the original joints prior to this. So now this is the first. Well, no, Be With You. Well, Be With You had samples, but I don't know how you can classify that one however you want to. But Mary's Joint is the original jam. I like this one. I just like the feel of it. I like the chords that Chucky used on here. And Mary's just serious. She's begging this dude.
Yeah.
She's just begging this dude. And this is the second side of the album. This was on cassette. So this was issued when they were still doing cassettes.
Correct.
This would have landed on the second side of the record.
It was.
I would say the second side of the record, just thematically, is just her begging this dude.
She was.
Yeah,
Don't go. I love you. No one else. And then at the end, she gets to it like, you know what? Fuck it. All I want to do is be happy. Yeah, that's right.
All right. So let's move on to the next joint. What we got, sir?
Don't Go.
I've been hurt before. Stay around for a while. Let's work it out. Let's try and make it happen. Don't do the things that other guys did to hurt me. They make me cry, break my heart. Oh, why? I know you're a busy man, but you don't understand.
Now, I'm going to say something real painful. The first time that I heard this song, I was completely and totally pissed. Because I felt like Goodbye Love was only 6 years ago. Yeah, it was only 6 years ago. Why are you sampling something so recent to make a new song? However, along with me being pissed about that, as I let the song go on, my attitude kind of changed about this. Big Bub is a co-writer on this, as well as Faith. All three of Big Bub, Faith, and Mary are on the backgrounds on this as well. As time passed on, I eventually fell in love with this, and I was like, okay, it's cool. You know, I like it. It's a good song. I dig it. And now these days, I love it. One thing, just flashing forward a little bit, I got to mention this because it's related to this song title. This is Mary's first song that she's ever made called Don't Go. She had another song on the Love and Life album from 2008, also called Don't Go. And ironically, I love both, right? The Don't Go in 2008 is a whole nother song, and it has no reference to this at all. But I thought it was interesting to mention both in the same space. What else I'll say about this is the coda at the end. The coda at the end instantly felt like another theft to me, because the lyrics that she sings, "You've got my heart, boy, you are the only one. If I can't be with you, I don't know what to do." That is a direct ripoff of "Speak to My Heart" by, what's his name? Richard Smallwood.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Richard Smallwood. I grew up singing that song in church. So when I heard Mary do it, right, at 19, I'm like, yo, we used to sing that in church. That's kind of cool. I thought it was all right how they kind of repurposed it. But the Goodbye Love ripoff on this, I was really pissed about it the first time I heard it. How did you feel?
Okay. I do not like this song.
But wait, answer my question. Specifically, how do you feel about the Goodbye Love ripoff in this?
I do not like this song. And the reason why I do not like this song is because of the Goodbye Love sample that loops the entire duration of the song. It distracts me from everything else going on. I have never listened to the song all the way through. I'll get maybe halfway through it and I gotta cut it off. I do not like the song. I do not like that sample. I do not like the idea of sampling that song like you were talking about. I don't like the whole thing just stops for me at the Goodbye Love sample. It's clumsy. I mean, they tried it. They tried it. You know
they tried it.
I mean, you know, you got to try some shit. You know, some shit you're gonna try, you're gonna fail. I mean, and it's one song. You know what I'm saying? So it's you got a whole bunch else to enjoy here. But this one is what we call what SB calls the speed bump. Yeah, I'm good on this one, brother. So I can't give you no more than that.
Well, let me just clarify. So what you're basically saying is, for you, this feels like green eggs and ham. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not hip. Hit me.
I do not like them in a house. I do like this on. I do not like them on a mouse. I do not like them in a box. I do not like them with the fox. You don't like this shit at all.
At all.
This shit is green eggs and ham to your ass, huh? Yo, Fife, do you eat them? Yo, Tip, do you eat them? Not at all.
I do not like it on an LP. I do not like it on a CD. I do not like it on a CASSETTE.
I like that. Good shit, my nigga. Good shit. Good shit. Okay.
I mean, seriously. Baby, don't go. Baby, don't go. Baby, don't go. For the entire goddamn record.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it. So props to you for being a soldier enough to sit through it and eventually fall in love with it. But yeah, I'm ready for the next one when you are.
The next one is I Love You.
About all the things
This one right here, on the other hand, this shit right here, on the other hand, I fuck with this. I fuck with this song. The sample is dope. You know, the Isaac Hayes sample is dope, of course. And we've heard that, I think that was Biz Markie had this sample.
Right, so make the music with your mouth, Biz. Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. Make the music with your mouth. That's Ike's mood, yep.
I like the way this was this Chucky again? I believe it was Chucky.
It was Chucky.
Yeah, I like the way Chucky flipped this. I like the way Chucky flipped that. He sped it up from its original speed. And then the vocal. Is Faith in here too?
No. According to my first credit, she's not. And just to re-verify in the book, she is not either. That's all Mary. I could definitely hear it. That's all Mary.
Yeah, I like this one. I really do like this one. I like what she's doing melodically here. I really like what she's doing. That's a really nice melody.
It's more begging though.
Yeah, it's complete. Yeah, the rest of the album is begging. The whole album is begging. But yeah, it's more begging thematically. So we don't have to really highlight the lyrics here. But musically, and her delivery again on point. She's getting to the emotional, core, of the record. So therefore, yeah, this is a winner to me. What sayeth you?
What I say is, I like this song as well. The title, again, pisses me off because it's too simple.
It is.
But what I do love, the drums on this song are hard as shit. I love the drums. The drums are so fucking dope. And the original sample had drums, but Chucky got some on top of it that are even harder. And the little keyboard riffs he plays on top of it, again, like you said, the way he flipped this is dope. Something I saw in this commentary, remember we were talking about this earlier, for those of you who are, looking at that My Life Deluxe commentary edition, she mentioned here that this was one of those songs that they used to mix at the block parties. And it was a famous sample that just stopped us in our tracks, like UFO. When you heard UFO, you just stopped when you heard this piano automatically. So it was something I wanted to do. I wanted to sing over Ike's mood. And Chucky, again, I remember this studio session. I remember sitting next to Chucky the whole time while he was doing the bass line. Wow, it's crazy. I could see it. And I remember that there was a part like an oboe, a violin or something at the end of the sample. And I told Chuck, I want this. I want to keep playing over and over and over again. And the way she did it, like the way Chuck did it. So Chucky Thompson really laid this out. This was part of his skill in being able to replay things. And I think he replayed this to perfection on top of the sample. Like the stuff he added on top of it, I think was excellent.
Agreed. What we got next?
What we have next is No One Else.
Many a call, but the chosen are few. The best of the few is you. You know exactly what to do. Baby, your time is so perfect. Why in the hell I deserve it? Keep on doing what you do. Oh.
No Chucky here. Who we got instead?
We have Mr. Dalvin along with KC on the lyrics.
Dalvin on the music, KC on the lyrics. No lyrical input from Mary.
Right. What I liked about this the most was, we talked about Jodeci earlier and folding them. You talked about how they used to all work together. What I liked about the Jodeci and the Mary J connection was off the first album, 411, I Don't Want to Do Anything Else. Longest fucking song title I had ever heard. But it was beautiful. And Devontae...
Was that on 411?
That was. Yeah, I Don't Want to Do Anything Else. It was the first song on the second side of the tape.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I Don't Want to Do Anything Else opened with a soaring Casey Haley note. Beautiful. That song was exemplary of their work together as a collective, how Jodeci and Mary J. Blige work together perfectly and beautifully. That song definitely captures that. You see it in real time when you watch Uptown MTV Unplugged from '93. There's a performance of that song on there. I definitely recommend y'all watch that if you haven't. It's back now, actually, through Paramount Plus. You can see that performance of Uptown MTV Unplugged. And it's beautiful to see them working together. I would have liked to see more of KC and Mary work on other songs on this album. That's the one thing I think this album is missing. If we were to criticize it and look at it critically, so to speak, there's only one song here. For them having a relationship, there's one song that actually shows that they were actually together, and it's this No One Else. Musically, I like the Al Green sample. I like how Dalvin takes from two different Al Green songs, one for the musical sample, and then the drums are, of course, you can definitely hear the I'm Glad You're Mine drums chopped. You can definitely hear that. And I like how he did that. Oh, I also love the Slick Rick sample. There is no competition. There is no competition. That's kind of cool, considering that the song was called No One Else. That was a perfect hip hop usage. A young me listening to this also geeked the fuck out over the Shakers, because the Shakers in there sounded just like some shit that Herbie Lovebug would do, like on Tramp or Push It.
Well, a lot of people use that sound. A lot of rap records in the mid 80s use that sound. You're going to hear it a lot in Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh stuff, both together and separate.
Oh, yeah. That's true. That's true. I didn't think about that. My reference was Salt and Pepper and Kid and Play.
You're not wrong. No, it's there too.
Yeah.
So definitely.
But I like how he blended all those elements together to make this track. I liked it. And the live guitar on it was kind of nice. And the extra bass work by Daryl Pearson, who we've talked about before. As you chuckle at my idea. But yeah, so I thought that was cool. What were your thoughts on No One Else?
You know what? There's nothing wrong with it, but it doesn't hold my attention. Yeah. I think this song could have ended up on the cutting room floor, to be honest with you. Back then, in the early 90s, well, this is the mid 90s at this point, we're trying to get the most mileage out of the CD as possible. So,
true.
Yes. It's there, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I don't know. And maybe that might have something to do with what's after it.
Right.
I want to hurry up and get to what's after it.
The last and final song on this album, classic album, is.
Y'all gotta rock it. Come on, we gotta dance. We gotta rock it. How can I love somebody else if I can't love myself enough to know when it's time to let go? Stay,
Bruh, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and take the baton on this one. And this again defies my own logic and explanation, because this is just a straight loop. It's a straight up loop. But here's the thing. Here's probably the edge that this has that You Bring Me Joy doesn't. Be Happy is built on a sample of a Curtis Mayfield joint. And what edges this out over You Bring Me Joy is that it's a song that people really didn't know by Curtis. They still don't really know about Curtis. It wasn't a hit. It was a deep cut. It was an album cut. It was a sleeper. You know what I mean? So therefore, we're kind of hearing it for the first time. We don't have that familiarity. You dig what I'm saying? So we hear the sample in I Love You, the Ike Smooth sample. We go, oh, that's the Biz sample. We don't have that familiarity. So this pretty much is new to us when we're hearing it in 1994. It's not registering to us as a sample because we've never heard it before.
True.
Unless you're just a Curtis Mayfield fan like that and you had that album. Now, lyrically, and I've kind of, been hinting towards this throughout the whole show. Mary's lyrics here. Now, Mary didn't write this by herself. Mary wrote this song with a friend of hers, and this person helped write another song on the album, My Life.
Correct.
And those two songs, I believe, are the centerpieces of this album. And those songs express where Mary is coming from the best on this album. Like we just said, the rest of the album is a lot of begging. But on this song and on My Life, we get a little more introspection.
We do.
And the thing is, and this is the power of songwriting. The whole point of doing anything, be it singing, be it songwriting, being playing an instrument, being producing, is being effective. You do what you have to do to be effective. So if you got to do a little more, or you got to do a little less, okay? So a lot of people think that when they write a song, they have to use a bunch of flowery language and, metaphors and things like that, and and be witty and deep and all this other good stuff. No, what I like about this song is that this is this young woman not talking to us, but talking to herself. And we are literally hearing the thoughts in her mind.
Correct.
When she's not talking to friends, not talking to her man, but when she's by herself and the room is quiet.
Right.
The lyrics of this song are those thoughts. And it's so simple, so simply put, that it makes it beautiful. How can I love somebody else when I can't love myself enough to know when it's time to let go? That is the entire first verse of the song.
Right.
You would think that there'll be more words to the verse. And if you listen to today's R&B, the songwriting is wordy and verbose than a motherfucker. It's a million words in these songs these days because they're writing them like raps.
Yes.
The first verse of the song is a sentence. How can I love somebody else when I can't love myself and know when it's time to let go?
Yeah.
One sentence is your verse. And you feel it. When you really listen to it, you feel it. And this is why Mary J is where she is now. That's why she's the queen of hip hop soul 31 years later. Because that resonated, that simplicity, that is poignant yet simple. So it's not going over anybody's head. It's going straight to the heart. So that's why Mary has a devoted fan base right now in 2025.
I can agree.
We feel this woman. We feel her loneliness. We feel her depression. We feel her desire to be loved and to be accepted. How can I love somebody
else
if I can't love myself enough to know when it's time to let go?
Nigga. Shit. She preached the word even in just that verse.
So now we get to the chorus. Not a whole bunch of stuff either. All I really want is to be happy. Find a love that's mine, it would be so sweet. That's it. That's it.
You know what's funny to me? If you think about it, she spent this whole album begging KC, only to at the end figure out, this nigga don't love me. And all I want to do is be happy. To find a love that's mine would be so sweet.
Bullseye. You got it.
God damn.
You got it. You got it, Jack. Exactly.
Begged the nigga the whole goddamn album. And then finally decides, yeah, okay, fuck it. All right, you know what? Anybody else want this? Because I just want to be happy. You want to be happy with me? Cool, let's do it. My thoughts on this song, I say this. I agree with everything you said, but I'm going to go from more of a critical angle on this. First of all, this song makes me disappointed that Arlene Del Valle never ventured further into songwriting past this record. Song-wise, I love this song. I love the simplicity. Everything you said was right on the motherfucking money. So I really have nothing else to say about it other than the production. This was one of the two songs that Chucky did not produce. Polk and Tone of the track masters produced it. Chucky added additional instruments on top, like that little symphonic intro that leads us into the Curtis Mayfield sample. That's Chucky, I believe. What I will say is I have a very, very strong spot in my heart for the remix of this song. The remix, for those of y'all who are not aware, sampled Jimmy Spicer's Money, aka Dollar Bill Y'all. And for those of y'all who are De La fans like me, it's the same sample as part 3 of Biddies in the BK Lounge. I loved that reference because here's where we also see Puffy's greatness. When it came to a remix, Puffy knew how to take stuff that was in rappers' hearts and flip it into some R&B shit in a way that was really crafty and slick. I dug that about Puff. I had to respect it.
All right. So that said, that brings us to the end of the record. Is there any other thoughts you have on Be Happy before we kind of sum it up?
She capped the album off with her main goal, her main thought. I just want to be happy. I thought loving this motherfucker would make me happy. So that's why I'm singing about him on the whole record. However, at the end of the day, what I want you to take from this record is, I just want to be happy. And that song is actually, you're right, one of Mary's best records ever. And it's hard to say that if you look at her whole career, because again, Mary at this point has about 18 albums. And to encapsulate her whole career, this song is one of her most powerful because of its simplicity that you mentioned earlier and the overall just vibe of how it wraps up the message of this album.
Okay. All right. So it must be noted, during the making of this album, Mary was in the throes of drug and alcohol abuse and depression. Mary was self-medicating while making this record, but we don't see any evidence of that in the record. There are some records where you can tell the artist was fucked up, but this, we don't get that here. We only know that because she told us. And it would take Mary a while to, get completely clean and sober. But what happened here? Okay, so when this album came out, it was a hit. And the tour was successful and all that. And it is a classic. That's the reason why we're discussing it right now. And like I said, it solidified her fan base. She had already impressed us with 411, but this is what made her a legacy artist. Now, the other side of that is that some people feel that this album stereotyped Mary. Therefore, i.e., we only want to hear Mary when she's fucked up. We only want to hear Mary in a state of depression, or we only want to hear Mary in pain. And I have a problem with that. I really do.
Me too.
And here's the thing. Part of it that bothers me is that she kind of feeds into it too.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah, you know, people have their, you know, issues and stuff like that, but, you know, at what point is this genuine? What point is it marketing?
Yeah.
You know, and that's why we get things like something that we won't speak of again on this podcast if it has anything to do with me. That's how we get My Life too.
Oh my God, that shit is terrible.
I mean, and then you look at some of the other album titles, you know, Stronger with Each Tear, and you know, it's what was it, the Breakthrough, No More Drama. I think sometimes she kind of leans into it.
Yeah.
And it only works if it's genuine.
I also agree with you that I hate how people say Mary only makes good music when she fucked up, right? Because one of my favorite songs of hers, even though you mentioned No More Drama as a terrible album title, one of my favorite songs on there is a song called Beautiful Day. Have you heard that before?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite songs of hers. And she actually sounded happy on that. The hook was happy. The lyrics were.
Oh, bruh, one of my favorite Mary J. songs, top 5, is Just Fine.
True.
That's my motherfucking shit, man. Even your boy Disco like that one. And yo, for our audience, go to YouTube and see if you can find Mary J. performing Just Fine on the Today Show. If you can find that video, thank me later. With the 411, it established Mary's relatability. When we saw Mary, number one, you know what I'm saying, for the girls, she looked like them. You got to think about R&B in the mid to late 80s, prior to, you know, Mary's coming out in 91, 92. The R&B vibe for women was unobtainable. You had Diana Ross, Whitney Houston, Janet Jackson, these glamorous, you know what I'm saying, very glamorous, you know, millionaire looking women.
Yeah.
So when we see Mary, we see somebody we recognize, somebody that we would see in our day-to-day travel. And dude, I had a gigantic crush on Mary when she first came out. I thought, you know what? I still think she's a beautiful woman today.
I think she's very amazingly beautiful.
I think she's fucking gorgeous today. Anyway, point being, coming from the male perspective, we know that girl. You know what I'm saying? So you got your Beyoncés and your Lizzos. Most of their fans are women. You dig? Mm-hmm. Now, Mary, she can play both sides of the aisle. It's like Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye is another one. So say for instance, if you go to Teddy Pendergrass concert, it's all chicks. If you go to Marvin's concert, it's everybody.
That's an interesting observation.
Yeah, dig it. There's some science to it. So Mary's long enduring appeal has to do with that relatability. You know what I'm saying? She's like one of us, but she's also extremely talented. So there's that magnetism around her relatability. You know what I'm saying? And then for her to verbalize the feelings of young women in the inner city with this album so perfectly, that's why we're talking about it right now in 2025.
Yeah.
Now I want to give, before we get too far in the weeds and I switch it back over to you, I want to say rest in peace to Chucky Thompson.
Definitely. COVID took him in 2021.
Phenomenally talented brother, musician, producer, songwriter. Chucky was one of those, like another Teddy Riley, dope musician, but he was able to function within this hip hop, R&B melange. So yeah, shout out to Chucky Thompson, rest in power, brother. And but yeah, that's my take on this album. I turn it over to you, sir.
Well, I am going to end my comments by saying rest in peace to Chucky Thompson, his memory. I don't think this album would have been what it was without his work and his influence. Even in the songs that he didn't fully produce himself, he was still a major part of those and how they came out. My Life is one of those records that I think only us from this era can fully appreciate. We saw real instruments and samples being combined in beautiful ways on all types of albums. I've said this before, and it bears repeating. We're from an era where real instruments and drum machines were kind of side by side in our ears. So we appreciated both. And I think My Life is one of the albums that shows that brilliance and shows that composition of combining both and using them when both appropriate. It is not Mary's best album, in my opinion, but I love it. Finn.
There's no need to belabor the point, so we gonna go ahead and ease on out of here. We gonna tip on out. Treble Free, tell the people where they can get to us if they want to get to us.
All right. If you would like to get at us, you can do so through 3 methods that we have now. Yay for progression. We got an email address. We got an Instagram account, and we got a Facebook page.
True that.
The email address is truthandsoulpodcast@gmail.com. That's truthandsoulpodcast@gmail.com. Similarly, like I mentioned, we are on Instagram under that same name, Truth and Soul Podcast. And now there's a Truth and Soul Podcast Facebook page. You can interact with us on any one of the 3 mediums. And if you ever have a question or a correction or a discussion point you'd like for us to bring up on a future episode, please definitely contribute that, and we will be definitely sure to shout you out.
Well, all right. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know about where you are, but ladies and gentlemen, for me, it is almost 100 degrees here, and my sinuses are going crazy. So yeah, my voice is going to be all over the place on this episode, but hey, y'all shepherd me through it, you dig? So we are going to come back at you with another episode pretty soon, but until then, hang loose. That's our time. Holla at your boys.
Doses.
Baby. Jamming on the one. Jamming on the one. Baby. Jamming on the one. Baby.
bitch.